Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Pennies to Pounds. No, I'm joking.
I'm so dead.
It feels like we're in a Pennies to Pounds episode because today we're going to be talking all about money, all about finance, all about being a woman and managing your money properly. So,
Yeah, I think this is a really important one to cover. Obviously, we do cover it in pennies to pounds, but we're going to have a different angle this time. This is all about women this time.
it's about the girls.
It's about the girlies. It's about the girlies. And there's a reason we're going to be covering it. Because us as women, we are strong individuals, right?
We are.
We're strong individuals. Yet when it comes to actually money and finances, we actually lag behind.
We do.
We
What
lag
are those
behind.
mad stats you saw this morning?
So I have compiled some stats to actually, so we can really feel how much we lag behind.
And I don't think people understand how drastic it is, like until you see numbers like this.
Yeah.
Because you think, and people always say, oh, like, men manage the money and men deal with money. Like there's a little bit of truth behind it.
There is.
Tell them the crazy numbers.
Right. So when it comes to men and women,
Yeah.
us as women, we live longer on average, right?
We do.
So on average, we tend to live for around 83 years compared to men who live to around 79 years old, right? So we have about 4 years on them.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to investing, only around 13% of women in the UK hold a stocks and shares ISA, so they invest, versus 21% of men, right? So what's that? That's like
That's
8% difference.
Yeah.
8% more men.
That's like almost double the amount of men, pretty much.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
That's a big number.
And then when we go down to those who have never invested, 55% of women in the UK have never had any kind of investment, right? So that's well over half, versus only 37% of men.
Wow.
55, 37.
Come on. Ladies do better.
Big gaps.
Ladies do
And then
better.
the final one, so in terms of retirement, bear in mind, women live longer by 4 years on average. Women have 51% less retirement savings compared to men.
Like half as much.
Yeah.
For every million that a man has, we only have 500,000.
Crazy, right?
No, but do you know what it is? I feel like a lot of this is around the fact that women are not pushed to be educated in these things. There's not women talking about it. There's not much.
No,
and
not
the
really.
people that are talking about it will be like, you're older, you white men or things like that. And we just kind of think, oh, boring, don't want to know. We'll worry about it later.
Mm-hmm.
Or, we'll leave it to the guys to do. I'll leave it to my husband to do it. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of how we feel. So I think it's really important that we're having this conversation today.
I think it's super important because when it comes to money, it's so important that you know what's going on, especially in relationships, especially when you have your family. I know there is some degree of responsibility. Perhaps you prefer your husband to manage your finances, but you should still have some sort of overlook and understanding of how you manage your money because it's so important, right? So I want to talk about the ways that we can manage our money. So how do you manage your money?
Don't ask me that question.
How do you manage your money? Come
I'm
on.
that friend, yeah. I'm that friend, like, oh, we're going out. Okay, wait, let me just transfer from my savings. Like, let me just, like, I don't have a set way to manage my money, which is so bad. Like, you've been out with me and you know that I'm that person that's just like, okay, Kia, like, how much is the bill? Oh, this much? Okay, I'll just...
Yeah, just transfer over.
Yeah. Like, I think as well, it's because of the lack of education. And as much as we try and learn from, TikTok and things like that, it's like, who do we go to? Where do I go? Where do I look?
It's like we need one solid hub that, I'm going to find everything from that one place because it's hard. We don't get taught in school.
Yeah.
If you go to university, which I didn't get it in university. And if anything, if no other time before, that is a place to learn it.
Yeah.
Let me say 100% that is the place because that is the first time I'd ever moved out. Girl, I didn't even know that my dad paid for Wi-Fi. I thought Wi-Fi came pre-installed in the house. That was when I found out the shock horror of my life that Wi-Fi was not included. True story. I remember I got into, so first year it was included in my accommodation. So again, I didn't know it until second year. I remember I got in and I was like, yeah, new home. I was like, yeah, I'm living in, like not in halls anymore. I'm living in the house.
Yeah.
And I remember I went on my laptop and I was like, what do you reckon the Wi-Fi is called here? And my dad was like, you probably don't have Wi-Fi. I said, sorry. And I contacted my landlord and he's like, oh yeah, like the previous year, students set up their own through this company. You might want to do it too. I said, Lord, it doesn't come pre-installed. But again, it sounds silly
No,
to
that's
us
not
now.
even that bad. I thought that water was free. Like, I didn't know there was a water bill.
But I can understand
until I
that as
moved
well.
out. I was like, we all drink water. We all need it. Like, I have a water bill to pay.
Yeah,
Like,
it's crazy.
You have to just learn these things on your own,
Yeah.
as and when. Like,
Yeah.
you think, okay, oh, I've got a credit card now. And then you're like learning how to manage it. Like,
Yeah.
you just have to do it kind of as you go along with
Yeah.
life, which is with most things, to be honest.
It is, but it shouldn't be that way,
Yeah.
especially with finances.
Yeah.
Because
They're
like,
very, very important. So important.
I mean, I got my first job at 16. So that's my first experience of properly handling money. Well, actually, before that, I started my first business when I was 9.
Yeah.
So, but people have different experiences. Money comes into it, and why we don't get taught it, it's still beyond me.
It is mad.
There's those different arguments for and against it. Why you should or you shouldn't get taught it in school. I don't know. I'm all for it. I think we should be taught it. So it's coming down to how do we actually manage our money. So obviously we know. I love this. This is my public domain. This is my strength.
Yeah.
Because I've always been the girl. All my friends know I'm the one who's like, Sometimes I'm like, that's a bit too expensive. I'm gonna be so real. I'm like, you man could do what you want in it. For me,
I have a credit card.
yeah, no. For me, I'm like, yeah, that's a bit too pricey still. Because I'm just like, nah. Because it's not always about how much money you have.
Yeah.
Because whatever it is, I'm saying it's pricey. I can afford it. I just don't want to spend it in that time frame because perhaps it's the budget I've set for myself or whatever it is. I'm just like,
that's a form of self-restraint that not everyone has.
It's
Like
true.
your thing with the budgeting, like for example, like you asked, how do I manage my money? I don't. I actually don't. For me, it's like do it, deal with it later.
Yeah.
Like spend the money and think about it after kind
Yeah.
of thing, which is bad, which is really bad. But again, like I am 20. I am 20.
Exactly. We do live and we learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it's really good that you've been able to develop this kind of thing of, okay, I've got a budget and I'm going to stick to it. But how would you recommend other women can do that? Like, what would you say is one top tip of how to set a budget and keep to it?
What I would say is to be realistic. And that's the number one because I see people who say, I'm going to budget, right? And let's just say they've got £1,000 to budget for the month, right? And they'll put everything down there. They're going to be like, yeah, do you know how much I'm going to save? I'm going to save £500. And I'm like, honey, you've got the bills. Yeah, let's be realistic. And then
Life is expensive.
you've got this person's birthday and yet you want
Yeah.
to go out and do that. Like, let's be more realistic because people will really say, I'm going to save everything. And then this is what I say people do. People oversave, right?
Yeah.
And oversaving is where someone, in that example, they put away £500 and then they cover everything else. And then they realize, I want to go out. So what am I going to do? I'm going to transfer money from my savings
That's
to
when
my
it starts
personal.
slowly trickling out.
It starts
of the
trickling
savings.
out. Whereas if you were just more honest with yourself and said, do you
Yeah.
know what? I'm going to set myself like what I like to call like your fun fund. This is the amount of money I'm going to spend on myself, whether that's going out to eat or doing whatever you enjoy. You want to buy a new pair of trainers, you want to buy some new clothes, whatever that is, right? That is your budget and your fund for that. Some people will oversave and say, I'm going to save all of this. And then before you know it, where you had £500 of savings, you got to the end of the month and that was £50 because you started taking it out instead of saying, you know what, realistically, I can only afford to save £50 or £75 this month because I still want to have a bit of fun,
Yeah.
which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And I still got bills to pay. So my number one tip would be realistic, 100%, and lay out everything. Even people who have debts, you have credit cards, you have loans, and you don't want to think about it, so you don't know what your balance is. Some people just spend and don't want to see what that
Me and my
number
Amex,
is.
tap.
Yeah,
tap,
no,
tap.
but
Deal with it later.
the
It's
thing
not
is,
real
that's,
money. It's just a credit card.
it is real money, please.
It is,
Yeah,
sorry,
it
this
real.
is not financial advice.
It's not. But I would say like just lay out everything, and a lot of people don't want to see their debts, and I get it because it's knowing what you have to repay, and it can be a bit daunting. But you have to just be honest with yourself. Like I've got an Excel spreadsheet that I create for pennies to pounds, right?
Yeah.
Where I literally go through and I fill in everything. So there's a point in my life when I was at university. I think I've said it before on my platform where I got a credit card. Stupid me. I got a credit card. Do you know what it was? I applied for one credit card. I was 20. So I was actually your age. I was 20. Applied for one credit card. And I thought I got rejected because everyone said you find out within 24 hours and I heard nothing. So I applied for a second.
Oh
Both got approved.
no.
And at the time, they both gave me like a £1,000 limit. I'm like, 20-year-old me in uni with 2K. I said to everyone, I said, yo, you hungry? Yeah. Nando's on me. Nando's on me. I got you guys. And I literally was splashing the where 2K went, I can't tell you. I have nothing to show for it now. But then it got to the point where I was like, wow, Kia, you've actually got to pay this back. It's actually not free money. And like one of them was 0% interest for 18 months. So that wasn't top priority.
Yeah.
But I'd start putting in place
How
a plan.
you were gonna do it.
Yeah, but how I was going to repay it. I'm working part-time. I'm a uni student. I was like, girl, where you find this money to pay back 2K? But I did it. I think I did it within like 8 months. I think I paid that all off to 2K. And I was like, yeah, never doing this again. I'm always going to just sit down. And you can spend on credit. There's nothing wrong with credit. But it's just having that plan.
It's like when you have a credit card, everything looks appealing.
Everything. You're like, oh, this is a bit cheeky.
You're like, usually you get £20 nails. Today I'm going to get £50 nails.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Usually I'm going to have one drink today.
Yeah, I want shellac.
Put the gems on there.
Yeah,
like,
go on. Good design. Every single finger.
every single one. It just becomes so appealing because it feels like it's such easy money.
Yeah, I know.
But it's dangerous. It's a really, really dangerous mindset to have. And I think for us as well, because naturally women spend with emotion. Like when you have the credit card, it's even worse because you're detached from the money. You don't have to see the money that you're spending.
Yeah.
You just look at it once at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit.
I know. I think that's why now I don't use my credit card for main spending. So I use it for one of two things, right?
Yeah.
So I use it either to put I drive, so I put my petrol on there because I want to build up my credit score. So obviously I always want to keep building it.
Yeah.
So I put my petrol on there so I can pay it off at the end of the month because obviously I've got the money to fill up my car, put it on my credit card, pay it off. Credit score goes up, happy days.
Yeah.
Or I use it to either A, buy a big purchase or B, go on holiday. Because what people don't realize, obviously, the extra protection that credit cards give you is if I put my holiday on there and something goes wrong, where I've had it before, where I've booked a holiday and then the holiday provider goes bust, I can now go to a credit card company and say, hey, I was meant to go to a little festival abroad, then they've gone bust, but I paid for it and the credit card company are jointly liable, so they'll give my money back.
Yeah,
which is why I have
really,
added
really good about
protection.
having credit card.
Yeah, that there is so many perks to it, but it is having that discipline.
Yeah, that's why we use it for business as well. So if you use a credit card for your business, for example, if you have ordered a bunch of stock, it comes and it's damaged, you can pay for your Amex or whatever company, and they will refund you the entire amount. And that's even if I've only put down, say, 20% deposit with my credit card, the entire amount still gets refunded to me, which is really good. It's the protection about it that's really good, as well as the points that you can use to upgrade your flights, to use them on different flights.
Exactly.
There are perks to credit cards if you use them correctly.
If you use them correctly. And I think if you are someone who is like, look, I want to get a credit card, but I feel like I'm not going to be responsible enough to not just splash the cash. The good thing is that you can actually contact your credit card providers and set yourself a limit.
Nice.
So you can set daily or weekly limits, spending limits. So you can actually say, like, I don't want to spend more than £100 in a day on my credit card. And if so, you send me an alert and I have to basically like manually approve it. So if you're someone who's like, you're out in Selfridges and you're like, yeah, I'm going to get myself this. Yeah. And it's more than that. You'll see declining. You'll be like, oh.
It'll humble you. It will humble you.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't. I set myself this limit and it helps you to rethink and actually say, do I really want this? Maybe you do. Maybe you set the limit, but today you're going to like treat yourself because you planned it. So, you approve that. But if you're like, I actually got it in my feelings, I shouldn't be buying this and this is reminding me, then that is a good way to kind of set yourself that boundary, I think. But when it comes to actually managing money for your business, how do you do that? Because I feel like this is something, as a business owner, everyone has their different ways.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to some business owners who have no way. Money just comes in, they kind of just pay for things. You ask them, like, on track, what they do.
Just at me while you're here. Like, people say it like this, yeah. The way you manage your personal finances
is how you're going to take it to business.
Yeah, but it's even worse. Like, it's even worse. Like, if you manage your personal finances like 50%, your business, you're going to be managing it like 25. Like, you're going to be doing crazy stuff. Because for me, it was like, money comes, money goes. And I've always had this way of thinking where I felt like money is fluid. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm never one to be like, shouldn't I spend that?
Yeah.
It's like, I will spend it and I will just make it back. Like, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel that way. We kind of just feel like money, it's just money. It comes, it goes, it's whatever. But you really do at some point need to have some sort of logical thinking regarding it. So when it comes to business, it's like, we have the money. And when you run a business as well, because you have a lot more money going through your business than you would going through your personal bank, you just think, I want to buy a £500 table for the office. All right.
Yeah.
You don't need that. You really don't need that. And for me, a lot of managing the money in my business is like, I need to reevaluate all these decisions, every single one. And because we obviously have, it's a bit different for me because I've got a business partner and an investor. So he has a team. He has the accountants. Mainly, all the people on his team have an accounting background. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's about, okay, if I can't make this decision, I need to put it through people who can make this decision. And most business owners tend to have accountants. You do have accountants. And you pay them. And you pay them a hell of a lot of money. So use your accountants when you can. If you have a big purchase to make, just put it through your accountant first. Just say, okay, listen, you know how much cash flow I've got. You know what's going through my business. You know what my forecasts are. Do you think that it's wise for me to put this much down for this? Like that. Mm-hmm. And it's really, really good to get a second opinion, especially in business. Because even if it's your personal life, no one can tell you don't spend £300 on a bag. No one can tell you that. But if it's through your business, do I need to spend this much money on stock? Just ask people. Yeah,
I think I echo that. I think it's so important to be able to do that because I have my accountant and there have been different things that I wanted to buy over the years. And I've said to him, right, so if I want to do this, what's the best way I can do it? Should I do it now? Do you know what I mean? Like, he can give me a different perspective because that is his background and that's what he does on the day to day. Whereas I'm just thinking, I want to buy this, whatever it is. I want to purchase this. But he might say, hold off, we're going to do it this way. Do you know what I mean? He knows how to do it the smart way. And I think for me as well, obviously, like you said, it reflects how you manage your personal money. So obviously, I'm really good at managing my money. So when it comes to managing my business money, I'm so meticulous, right? So obviously a lot of what we do at Pennies to Pounds, we work with a lot of brands. So that's, where a lot of our revenue comes through. I have created myself a template on Notion where I track everything.
Nice.
I track all of the money. I track what's coming in. I track what's going out. So obviously my accountant does that himself as well, right?
Yeah.
But I can also know what's going in when, and obviously some of it is down to when I create content. So I'll literally put in created here, submitted then, should be paid here. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I really know everything and I can see the forecast and I have all of that planned out. And that template is what I've been using it for 2 years now. I think I created it last year. And that has just helped me with my business. Like, I literally just know where the finances are coming and going. So, and it helps me to plan in the future. If I know, like, okay, cool. Obviously, you know, with invoicing, your business is slightly different. So people purchase stuff from you. For me, it's invoices that have to wait to be paid. But I can plan and say, okay, I expect X amount to be paid within the next 2 months. So now maybe in 2 months' time, I might want to do Y thing with the business, or I'm going to invest into this because I now know what should be coming in at what point.
Yeah.
So I can make those further like plans for the business. So I know, you know, in 3 months' time, I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring on that person. Whatever that is, I have a better understanding. So that's why I like
It's similar even with product-based businesses. So if you've got a product-based business, you're selling a product, you will often use like Shopify or anything that has a back end, Stripe or something, and it will take a certain amount of time to pay out that money into your account. So you know that you can't spend that money until you've received the payment. So I think keeping track of when money comes in inevitably just helps you keep track of when it's going to go out and what's going to go out during that time.
Exactly. I think another one that people don't realize is, you know, when you have bills, right? So whether that's subscriptions or just any kind of bills you want to pay, quite often they're very sporadic throughout the month. You might have one come out the 2nd, then one on the 5th, and then one on the 8th, and then one on the 15th. Do you know what I mean? Just everything comes out whenever, and it can be hard to plan how much money you've got for the month. What people don't realize is that you can actually contact all these companies and get it all in one day. Oh, no. You can do it for your personal bills, which is what I do. Everything comes out about 2 days after. Like you know, like the 1st of the month, I might have everything come out on the 2nd. So I know all my bills, and it is a blow because you're like, loads of money to come out. But you can then forecast for the rest of the month. You can budget yourself properly, and you can do this exact same with your business finances. Any subscription that you've got, anything that you pay for on a monthly basis, you can contact everyone. Most of them are like you can log into your account and just change the date you pay, and some of them you might have to go through an online chat or send an email, but they can change it to whatever date you want because it doesn't affect them. If you say I want to pay everything on the 1st of the beginning of every month because you know you get your payments paid on the last day of every month, so it gives you like a day or two, right, in between. You can set that and you know, right, it's going to be a lot of money that comes out, but then by the 2nd, I'll know exactly where we are for the month financially, and I can kind of plan what the rest of the month looks like.
Nice.
I think that's a good way for people who...
That's a great life hack. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can do it, man.
Dropping the gems. Like,
Come on, man.
That is good. I like that. I'm going to do that. I'm gonna do
you can
that.
just contact these brands. Right. What would you say is one thing, if someone's listening or watching, one thing that people can do with their finances today to improve it?
Okay, I'm going to say this to myself as well.
Okay.
It's the new year. I need to hold myself accountable.
Yep.
Keep an eye. Just keep an eye on them. So long as you know exactly where the money is at all times, if you know this has got to go out on this day, if you know this is going to come in at this day, it's just going to help you feel so much better about the money and not be so like sporadic about like, you know, it's just here and there and whatever.
Yeah.
You need to kind of like, I think your idea with the Notion thing is amazing. And I think, do you have a free like budget planner thing?
Yeah, I have a free Excel.
We'll link that all in the bottom.
Yeah.
So you got if you want to have a look, if you want to see how you can budget better, you can have a look at Kia's free resources, which are, you know, so helpful. Thank you. I think I'll be looking at them myself later.
There you go, you can have it. I think mine would be like what you mentioned. I think it'll be to invest in a set of templates. So I use Notion because I love Notion. It took me a long time to understand it.
Great.
Yeah, this year it took me a long time to understand it. Once you get it, you're like, this is my lifesaver. It's on all my devices, so I have it everywhere. But I would say just invest into templates. So obviously Notion have their own free templates. You can create your own, or people sell Notion templates. I'd recommend it if you don't want to sit down and figure out how Notion works and then create a template, go and buy templates. But doing that can help you sort everything out. Like you can literally get one which is like a finance dashboard. So you can see everything all you're spending. You can get one which is a budget tracker, and you can get one which is like a habit tracker. You can get so many different ones, but you can literally just plan out your entire life using something like Notion. You don't have to use Notion, but something like Notion. That I think that's a good basis to start with if you want to actually get on top of your finances. Have everything in one place. Is put Notion on your phone, on your iPad, on your laptop, wherever whatever you use on a regular basis, and you can just come back to it and see, right, cool, this is where I am in my finances, and you're not shying away from it.
Yeah,
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
Take control of your finances, like take control of your life, you know?
Yeah.
You have to know exactly what's going on at all points in your life. Like nobody's going to do it for you.
No.
Nobody's going to do it for you.
No. And it's scary if you let someone do it for you.
It is.
Because I've seen like videos of people who say like, oh, I don't know how much money is in my account because my husband deals with it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, honey,
Don't depend on men.
no.
Don't do it, girl.
No, at least have an understanding of what
Yeah.
you pay for and how much it is. Like, even if they do it, just have an understanding. That's what I'd say.
True.
Yeah. But we have drawn to the end.
We have.
This has been a good one, though.
That was really quick.
I know, this has been a good... That's what happens when
Lots
you have
of
fun.
gems. Lots of gems. Lots of
Loads
interesting
gems.
things.
Exactly. If you have enjoyed this, which I hope you have, there's been loads of gems that we have been dropping throughout this episode and through previous episodes and more to come. Make sure you follow us everywhere on Sexy Money. This is a weekly podcast for the new year to get you set
yeah.
right and get you just thinking better. So new year, let's create ourselves and be the best versions of ourselves. So make sure you follow us, Sexy Money, everywhere, and follow us personally. So Marnie, where can they find you?
You can find me at Marnie Zabat on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
And you can find me, IKEA, on everything but TikTok. I don't know why I changed it. Kia, like, I'm Kia Com on TikTok. I don't know, but I'm IKEA everywhere. I think if you type in
We'll
IKEA,
link everything in the bottom to make it
everything will be
easy
in the
for you,
bottom.
okay?
I don't know why I made it confusing. I need to change it back to IKEA. I don't know why I changed it. Do you know what? I want to be anonymous for a bit.
Oh.
And then, a video.
You know what? Catch us in the next episode talking all about social media.
There we go. Look at that. It's a good follow through. You know what's coming next. But yes, bye guys.